Okay, what's next?
Ain't Misbehaving 113.
113, thank you.
China, 113.
Okay.
Oh, 113.
We ready?
One, two. One, two, three.
What's next?
160? Is that
160?
correct?
Do nothing?
Yeah, 160.
What is it?
160. Do nothing till you hear from me.
Ulcer. Ulcer. You brought her.
Okay. Let's go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Good job, Bob.
Let's go to Besame Mucho. Let's
Don't you think we should finish this up first?
191.
What number is it again?
191.
You could buy me a drink first.
After the gig. After the gig. 191. Yeah, Besame Mucho. Yeah, let's just go on with the Pops book. I think they can pull Bill Sousa.
Ain't no accounting for taste.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
1,
Okay.
Brava, brava.
Nice.
That's a good arrangement. It is a great arrangement.
What's it?
Cheap powers.
Okay, Love is Here to Stay, 157.
My slides aren't worn.
China.
We'll do the last one before we break.
We'll see.
154.
157. Love is Here to Stay. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
Okay. Miles, that's fine. That's all right. After you've gone, 155.
China, China. Blue 155.
Be ready to end at 35.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Don't do that now. Okay.
1, 2, 1. Sorry, dear. You sound lovely.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will begin our Information School Convocations ceremony shortly, so please take this time to silence all electronic devices. Thank you for your cooperation. Now we will have our faculty process out to the stage. After they are on stage, student processions will enter by degree program and be seated.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anin Day, and I'm so very proud to be the Dean of the Information School here at the University of Washington. It's my great pleasure and honor to welcome you today to the 2026 Information School Convocation. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. This convocation this year is special. This year, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Information School and our largest graduating class ever. I'm thrilled that all of you are part of this milestone, but more importantly, I'm especially honored that the Information School plays such a pivotal role in each of your journeys. And speaking of milestone years, 2026 has been a momentous year for our graduates. I would like to ask all of you, whether you're here in person or watching the live stream elsewhere, to please stand up as you're able and join me in giving a huge round of applause to the Information School class of 2026. Thank you. What a wonderful crowd. Thank you all for being here today and pouring out so much love and enthusiasm for our graduates. Yeah. This is my 9th convocation as Dean, and I have to say this graduation never gets old. I love celebrating our students with friends and family. It's such a special occasion and one of my favorite events of the year. This year, I had the privilege of attending my own son's graduation in California. Thank you. And I want to give a special shout out to all of you, both graduates and guests, who have traveled from afar or are joining us online for today's event. It's so special to us that you're here to celebrate this occasion with us. I know how hard each of our graduates has worked to reach this moment, but I also know that none of them has succeeded alone. They relied on all of you, their loved ones, their faculty, friends, and advisors, and on each other. Pursuing a degree is something that you do in community, and all of you in the audience and on stage share in the achievements that we're celebrating today. Graduates, can you please join me in offering a round of applause to everyone who has supported you throughout your academic journey? Thanks to all of you for being here today throughout these last many months and years, whether you're in person or online. At times of celebration, we also think of those who are unable to join us. This year, that list includes fellow University of Washington student Juniper Blessing. While Juniper was not an information student graduate, nor would she have graduated today, her death greatly impacted our community. I also want to recognize that there are many around the world whose lives have been taken, cut short, or forever changed due to violence, hatred, and conflict. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection to honor their lives and losses and remember any loved ones unable to be here with us today. Thank you. Times of transition, they're always accompanied by a confusing cocktail of emotions. You have excitement and pride competing with anxiety and uncertainty. Over the past year or more, as you move through your degree, you gain confidence in what was expected of you and comfort in the academic environment. But now this time is coming to a close, and it's hard to know what you'll face next. Regardless of your current employment status, and congratulations to those of you with new and continuing job offers, I know that you will all face career challenges at some point in the time to come. Libraries and cultural institutions are struggling with funding and public trust, while AI and other factors are both transforming and disrupting industry and creating widespread impacts. And the economy, well, let's just say it's had better years. But I also know that through your program and the intentional decisions that you've all made, you are ready for the challenges ahead. When I talk to graduates and hiring managers, they share that well-rounded information school students are who they're looking to hire. People who can work with people, who understand technology and information, and how we organize and view that information, combined with an understanding of the impacts of choices and the skills and expertise to make good choices. That describes every single one of you. I mentioned community earlier, and the many people who supported you in reaching today's graduation. The loved ones in this room, certainly, but also your colleagues and fellow alumni. As an educator, it pains me to admit this, but years from now, you may not remember the specifics of every single class you took. I hope, though, that you'll remember the lessons from those classes, but I know that you'll remember the classmates and peers you worked with, the faculty and advisors who have guided you, and the friends you have made. You are leaving the information school with more than just a valuable credential in your degree, but look around the room. Your classmates, friends, and peers from other programs all are now amongst your fellow alumni. Today, you join an extensive alumni network of more than 14,000 graduates, many of whom graduated long before the information school it was in its current form and established. Our amazing keynote speaker today is a fellow alum, as are a number of the faculty on stage with us today. Your faculty, staff, and students who will graduate after you are also part of the larger information school community. I urge you to remember that you're leaving with relationships that will enhance your life and help you achieve your goals, and will support you for the rest of your career. Reach out. When you need help or advice, when you're looking for new colleagues or partners, when you want to find someone to celebrate with or commiserate with, and when you're able to, offer support to others. I have no doubt that together you all can and will accomplish incredible things. As observed by American cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. As students, you have proven yourselves to be compassionate, thoughtful, collaborative, creative, and dedicated. In the classroom, within your student organizations, through your hands-on projects, and in your interactions with faculty and peers. You have tackled adversity and many, many, many group projects. And we're here today to celebrate all of those achievements. Can all the graduates please stand and give yourselves a round of applause to celebrate the end of your studies and all that you've accomplished. Thank you. I could not be more proud of all of you. Congratulations to the Information School class of 2026. We will now begin our convocation ceremony with the handing out of our Information School Annual Student Awards. We ask the award winners to join us on stage to be recognized and have their photo taken with the award presenter. I'll call up Liliana Sanders, who will be presenting the 21st Century Award on behalf of the Master of Library and Information Science student body. Liliana is the first-year representative of ALIS, the Association of Library and Information Science Students. Welcome.
Hello, iSchool graduates, friends, family, and faculty. My name is Liliana Sanders. I am the first-year representative and incoming president of the Association of Library and Information Science Students. Thank you. I have the honor today of presenting the 21st Century Award to one residential and one online MLIS student. These honorees, chosen by their peers, represent the spirit of our program and embody the future of library and information science. Please come up to the stage when your name is called. The residential cohort recipient of the 21st Century Award is Sarah Harris. Sarah's peers have recognized her for her ability to not just find communities, but to create them. She isn't afraid to ask questions or confront inequities in the library and information science fields. She is passionate and dedicated to both her studies and her peers. Sarah has contributed to the field through her volunteer work at a youth prison, her involvement in co-facilitating the Black and Information Future Symposium, and her development of an updated library system for a senior living home, to name a few. She also actually does all the readings for her classes, which we all know is quite the feat. Thank you, Sarah, for your diligence and enthusiasm for librarianship. Yeah. All right, and the online cohort recipient of the 21st Century Award is Molly O'Donnell. Molly has served as this year's online Ombuds representative, tirelessly devoting themselves to students' needs. Not only have they advocated for their peers, but they also have done vital work to improve library accessibility for the deaf and hard of hearing community. Their peers have acknowledged how Molly has supported them through various hardships and does everything in their power to build avenues of assistance for many MLIS students to come. They will continue their impactful work as a teen librarian. Thank you, Molly, for your compassion and ceaseless efforts. Congratulations to you both. We are so excited to see how you continue to shape the field and lift up those around you.
Congratulations to both of our awardees and to all of our Master of Library and Information Science graduates. I'd now like to welcome Abraham Gibson, Vice President of the Informatics Undergraduate Association, who will be presenting the Eisenberg Award and the Scott Barker Award on behalf of the Informatics student body. Welcome.
Good afternoon, high school community, and congratulations to all our new graduates. While serving as the president of the Informatics Undergraduate Association, I've had the privilege of interacting with so many of our graduating seniors, and I'm constantly impressed by the talent, passion, and perseverance you all exemplify. We are here today to celebrate your achievements at the University of Washington's Information School. So on behalf of the community, a heartfelt congratulations. But I'm also here to present two awards specially to our seniors. Every year, the Informatics Undergraduate Association has the honor of selecting two graduates for the Mike Eisenberg and Scott Barker Awards. The Eisenberg Award is awarded to the student who is most heavily involved and committed to demonstrating positive impact in the high school community, and the Barker Award recognizes a student who most exemplifies and aims to carry out the values of the high school. Every year, we have some difficult decisions to make, and this year was no different. But I'm pleased to announce Shaemin Kim for the Eisenberg Award and Anushka Verma for the Barker Award. Please come to the stage. I first want to talk about Shaemin. As the president of the Informatics Undergraduate Association, Shaemin has displayed tremendous leadership during her tenure. Her commitment to serving the needs of our community is truly inspiring, putting up events spanning academic, professional, and social spheres, meeting students where they are. More than all of that, Shaemin is a dear friend and mentor to me. More than all of that, well, I'm sorry. Someone I hope I can emulate now, having the privilege to serve as the president of IUGA. Her kindness, compassion, and work ethic have permeated within our organization and defined the sort of organization we strive to be. Although she may be graduating, she will always remain part of this community where she has made a lasting impact. Now let's get on to Anushka. Serving as the co-president for Women in Informatics, WINFO, Anushka truly exemplified the high school values. Her ethos was all about making spaces more accessible and helping students find a sense of belonging. Under her leadership, WINFO took on a multitude of different initiatives, believing that the more opportunities they pursued, the more opportunities they would create for students to get involved. One of these initiatives was the Fearless Tech More Innovation Challenge, giving middle school and high school students opportunities to use technology to create a positive social impact, whilst at the same time receiving mentorship by current informatics students. Anushka also served as a TA for multiple info courses, creating positive academic experiences for students. Anushka, your light is so bright, so please keep shining. Thank you both so much for all you've done. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Shamin and Anushka and the rest of the informatics graduates. Now I'd like to welcome Nishtha Agarwal and Vedika Bafna, who will be presenting the Archer Awards on behalf of the Master of Science in Information Management student body. Nishtha and Vedika are the incoming president and vice president, respectively, of AIMS, the Association of Information Management Students.
Thank you, Dean Day, for that introduction, and congratulations to all of our graduates. The Archer Award recognizes 2 students, one from the residential program and one from the online program, who have demonstrated meaningful engagement and sustained impact within the MSIM community. This award honors individuals who go beyond academic achievement to strengthen the student experience through leadership, collaboration, service, and community building. While only 2 students can be recognized with this award, this decision was far from easy for us. The quality of the nominations we received was a testament to the remarkable impact students across the MSIM community have made on their peers and the program. With that being said, it is my honor to announce this year's Residential Archer Award recipient, Candice Lee. As a student in the Early Career Accelerated track and the ECA representative on the AIMS board, Candice has played an extraordinary role in strengthening the MSIM community. Throughout her time in the program, Candice has been a driving force in bringing students together through countless community building events, shared spaces for collaboration and peer support, and fostering connections that have strengthened student experience both inside and outside the classroom. Her efforts have helped build a community where students were welcomed, supported, and empowered to succeed. Candice's impact extends beyond community building. As a teaching assistant, she's demonstrated a deep commitment to student success, generously sharing her time, knowledge, and encouragement with peers. She approaches every challenge with curiosity, integrity, and a strong sense of purpose, embodying the true spirit of this program and the Information School. Please join me in congratulating Candice Lee.
Thank you, Nishtha. Congratulations, Candice. Now I'm delighted to present the 2026 online track Archer Award to Ciara Allison. Ciara has been an extraordinary presence in the MSIM community who defines what it means to build community even across distances. She showed up for her classmates with consistency, warmth, and a generosity of spirit that left a lasting mark on everyone around her. Known for her willingness to share her time and expertise, Ciara has been a supporter, a trusted resource, and someone who uniquely enriches conversations around business and technology. She proves that true leadership isn't about seeking recognition, it's about empowering everyone around you to succeed. Please join me in congratulating Ciara Allison, our 2026 Archer Award winner.
There's nothing better in the world than a proud dad. It is now my pleasure to welcome up some of our faculty chairs who will give out awards on behalf of their programs. I'd first like to welcome Dr. Karen Fisher, Chair of the Master of Library and Information Science program, who will now present the Ruth Warden Award for Student Excellence in Library and Information Science. Karen.
I'm very proud to present this annual award, which is selected by the faculty and is given to a student who represents outstanding leadership, service, and academic merit. Now, Ruth Warden was the first full-time faculty member hired by the UW Library School. And if you're wondering what year that was, it was in 1926. The former iSchool Dean, Mike Eisenberg, noticed her strong leadership and clear deep commitment to the library field and to the University of Washington. During her tenure as dean from 1931 to 1945, her contributions are seen as a direct link to the transformation of the library school, the expansion of the MLIS program, and the creation of today's information school. This year, we recognize Neftali Rodriguez Castella. Please come to the stage, Neftali. Neftali is not with us today, hopefully watching online, and thank you everyone, thank you Neftali.
Next, I would welcome Informatics Program Chair, Dr. Joel Ross, who will present the Faculty Award for Student Excellence in Informatics.
The Faculty Award for Student Excellence in Informatics recognizes students who have demonstrated above and beyond excellence through their scholarship, their leadership, and their service to the information school and to their peers. This year, we recognize two students, Elena Jian and Lucy Lin. Please come to the stage. Yep. One's here, there we go. Faculty spoke about Alina's compassion and support for students as a TA, her engagement with the school, such as by attending faculty candidate teaching demonstrations, and her deep reflections and intellectual curiosity as a scholar. Faculty, quote, raved about Lucy's service as a TA, quote, one of the best, her amazing work for the iMentorship program and the iEngage team, and her leadership with WinFo and support of the school's outreach efforts. Both of these students demonstrate above and beyond excellence in informatics. Congratulations.
Next, I would like to invite Associate Master of Science in Information Management Program Chair, Sarah Sanford, who will present the Faculty Award for MSIM Student Leadership. Sarah.
The Master of Science in Information Management Leadership Award recognizes students who demonstrate an enthusiasm for learning, leadership, and socially conscious strategy. This year, we recognize 3 students who embody these principles and values. I will ask each award recipient to wait to come to the stage until I have announced all 3 names. First, from MSIM Online, we recognize Leah Hemberry. Coming from a non-technical background, Leah dove into expanding her AI knowledge and brought responsible AI best practices to her nonprofit employer, focusing on data safety and examining AI usage for grant applications. She is known for meaningfully contributing to her classes and encouraging others to contribute as well. Thank you, Leah. Our second award recipient is M. Stelter. Nominated by numerous faculty members, Em is known as a joy to teach and work with. They are also known for pushing debates to levels that challenge their classmates, replicating the work of advanced scholars independently and on the fly. Most important is their relentless focus on creating a kinder and more just world. The MSIM community looks forward to seeing Em make their mark. Our final recipient is Anushka Bhagchandani. Anushka embodies what our program stands for: rigorous interdisciplinary thinking combined with compassion and ethical leadership. She displays a willingness to engage with complexity and ambiguity, making her someone that others look to when questions of ethics and nuance arise. With her many gifts, Anushka acts from a place of empathy and integrity, making her an MSIM leader worth celebrating. Congratulations to all three of our MSIM Leadership Award recipients. We invite you to come to the stage.
It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Tracy D. Hall. Tracy is many things, including an MLIS alum and the Information School's outgoing distinguished practitioner in residence and professor of practice. She joined our ranks in the autumn of 2024 after serving as the executive director of the American Library Association during a critical time for the organization, including the COVID-19 public health crisis and recovery, when libraries played a critical support role for community connection, learning, and information. Tracy has been a vocal leader in the fight against censorship, earning her recognition by Time magazine as one of the world's most influential people. The Medal for Freedom of Speech and Free Expression from the Franklin D. Roosevelt Institute, and the Sojourner Truth Leadership Award from the Metropolitan Chicago YWCA. In 2025, the University of London Royal Holloway College awarded her an honorary doctorate in recognition of her lifelong advocacy for information access and the freedom to read. Honestly, this is just a very small sample of the many awards and honors that Tracy has received, but hopefully this communicates her deep commitment to and expertise in connecting communities with information critical to their lives and future. I am thrilled to have her here today to offer her insight, inspiration, and journey for the class of 2026. Please put your hands together for a warm welcome for Dr. Tracy D. Hall.
As a graduate of the class of 2000, it is both an honor and homecoming to address the newest graduating class of the University of Washington Information School, an institution that continues to shape generations of change makers. I hold deep gratitude for the extraordinary faculty and administration who taught and supported me as a student, and for those I have had the privilege to teach alongside these past 2 years. I must call out the school's newly minted Center for Advances in Libraries, Museums, and Archives, CALMA, as well as Dean Aninde, whose support made possible the critical fieldwork and convenings that have anchored my time here. To the class of 2026, having taught some of you and interacted with many others, I can say with confidence that you have the intellectual capacity and skill set necessary to change history. I truly believe that. I also want to acknowledge the loved ones who have been your support systems. This moment belongs to you too. And those who have struggled to find support, thank you for being there for yourself. As has been said, what we celebrate today is not just individual achievement, but that it is grounded and incubated in community. Now, my degree is as old as the information school, which is a fact not lost on me. I am a living testimony to how profoundly obtaining a degree in information can change a life. Now, right here, let me make what is somewhat an obvious connection. There is an intrinsic relationship between information and change or transformation. To inform is to access, aggregate, and supply knowledge. To transform is to apply that knowledge in a way that fundamentally changes the state, context, even the trajectory of something or someone. Simply put, information lays the foundation for transformation. No information, no transformation. No information, no transformation. No new input to the form, no change in the form. In my Black Information Futures course, which I originated and taught here at the Information School, the first book students encounter is Parable of the Sower by the great Afrofuturist writer Octavia Butler, who lived and died not far from where we stand today. In Parable, a dystopic novel where many have lost the ability to read, protagonist Lauren Alamina succinctly and potently captures the connection between information and transformation when she writes a manifesto for Earthseed, the new world she envisions. She writes, "All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you." In Montgomery, Alabama, where I live, information powered the civil rights movement and changed the course of history. After Rosa Parks' arrest, Alabama State University professor and informationist Joanne Robinson and her students used a single mimeograph machine to print and distribute 35,000 flyers overnight to successfully kickstart the Montgomery bus boycott. The next morning, residents not only learned the logistics of the boycott, but details of community-created transportation alternatives. 381 days later, they had brought the segregated bus system to its knees. facilitated by something rarely studied outside of schools like this one, the informatics of the civil rights movement. How information systems can serve as compasses for liberation. Now, I often wonder what they would have done with Instagram or TikTok or GPS, but the informatics of liberation was what I yearned to explore when I entered what was then solely a library school. I had come to libraries from working with unhoused youth in Los Angeles shelters, where I'd observed that poverty or low literacy could become a defining trait passed down from one generation to another, like a grandfather's dimples or a grandmother's hazel eyes. I observed the cyclical way that poverty could lead to being unhoused, and being unhoused to inconsistent school attendance, and inconsistent school attendance to low literacy, and low literacy to poverty, cycles and spirals. I made it a practice back then to take every shelter resident to get a library card. Exposed to all of these resources, so many of them would ask the same question: is this free? It felt good to answer yes. And I hope, especially now, that that remains a truth. At the heart of information studies is this foundational idea that information wants to be free. Information wants to be free. Information seeks to move beyond its source, its container, to spread from person to person, attaching itself to one new receiver after another. And to reach its full potential, information must be organized. Information theorist S.R. Ranganathan described the library or the knowledge container as a living organism. The words organism and organize derive from the same Greek root, organon, or tool. When timely, accessible, organized and relevant, information comes alive and becomes one of the most powerful tools of change. While a student here, I witnessed the program go through a state of change itself. There was a conversation underway about what could be gained from bringing in the adjacent disciplines of information science, informatics, and information management. That conversation led to the creation of the information school we know today, which has fittingly expanded to include museology. That change was evolutionary. It was transformative. The more I learned as a student how to manage information in and beyond libraries, the more I understood how unparalleled it could be as an intervention and disruptor. With my degree as a compass, I set out on an information career that might look to some like it was neatly planned. It wasn't. I didn't have a job waiting for me. And I share this because some of you are graduating with jobs lined up, or where you know your new degree can help you secure a promotion. And to you, I say congratulations. Others of you are graduating, as I did, with the conviction that what you have learned can help create positive change. And to you, I also say congratulations. Sometimes not having it all figured out is a launching pad. There is a current sentiment that says that education is only as valuable if there is immediately connecting to employment, if it is immediately connected to employment, and I challenge that thinking. I'm from a working class family in South Central LA. Watts, stand up. 103rd Street, stand up, right here. Listen, don't make me digress and talk about, come on, Watts. That's how we do, though. I know how important a good job is, but what I have observed is that the most valuable education allows us to not just hold a good job, but to create them. and to build organizations that generate jobs that are more ethical and less mercenary when it comes to human need. Not having a preset future, it both frees you and it forces you, and I'm a living witness, to take chances, to create new strategies, new tools, new means of organizing that can help the world evolve, or more critically, survive. During the 2.5 decades since I've graduated, information issues have moved to the center of our society. Information redlining compounds physical and virtual divides. Crisis informatics during natural disasters and pandemics like Hurricane Katrina and COVID-19 have impacted who survives and who doesn't. There is the urgent question of how we will respond to the synergistic rise of machine intelligence and the decline in adult literacy. There is the normalization of disinformation and unprecedented state-sanctioned book censorship. But you, dear graduates, are uniquely prepared to take these issues on. It's true. You are. In those same 2.5 decades since I graduated, this information school has become one of the greatest schools of its kind in the world. Producing some of today's most promising thinkers. And yes, I am talking about you. I wanted to say, I am talking about y'all. At some, code switching. At some point in all of my classes, and my students who are here, you know this is true, I ask my students this question: what will you do with what you know? What will you do with the extraordinary knowledge you have gained about how information works? How will you use your facility with knowledge and object management to close the digital divide, to predict and mitigate the wide-scale impact of data centers on communities, to organize programs and exhibitions that tell our truths and lived experiences, to honor and advocate for indigenous knowledge systems and Black information futures? To ensure, despite the embargoes and mandates on what can and cannot be spoken or remembered, how will we ensure that our archives and museums reflect our full story as a people? How will you use information as a tool of liberation, of transformation? I leave you now with that question, and also with this wish: for your highest good, may everything you touch, you change, and may everything you change, change you.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for being our speaker today and for challenging our graduates to transform the world around them through their lives and careers. As a fellow alum, I hope your success and commitment will serve as a demonstration of the power of information in all its forms to change lives. And thank you to Tracy for serving as our professor of practice for these past 2 years. We'll miss working alongside you here at the Information School, but are so excited to see you continue your critical work on Black information futures with Historically Black Colleges and Universities Library Alliance as the Executive Director. And continuing on and working with the Information School and our students as an affiliate faculty member here in the school. Congratulations, and thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
So what do you think? Is it time to graduate some students? We will now recognize candidates for the Information School's doctoral program. Would Program Chair and Professor Wanda Pratt please present your candidates?
Would the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Information Science please rise? Dean Day, it gives me great pleasure to present the graduates of our doctoral program.
On behalf of the entire Information School family, I congratulate you. All of us on the faculty know that your years of commitment, hard work, and sacrifice that are necessary to complete a doctoral program. We are very proud of you and know you will have successful careers. We will take this moment to acknowledge each of you individually. After our graduates receive their doctoral hoods, we invite our PhD graduates to sit with the faculty on stage in recognition of their scholarly achievements and awarding of their doctoral degrees. I would now like to invite Sarah Nguyen to come forward to the stage. Sarah's dissertation title is Sharing Stories, Sharing Trust, Making Sense of Transnational Information and Diasporic Memories. I now invite Rodam Landesman to come forward to the stage, and Dr. Jinha Lee and Dr. Katie Davis to come forward to invest Rodam with her doctoral hood.
Thank you so much. I want to apologize to my dad, but thank you. Thank you.
Rodam's dissertation title is Supporting Teens' Everyday Ethical Thinking About Gen AI. I now ask Itza Carbajal to come forward to the stage. Itza's dissertation title is Preparing Today's Climate Change Generation, a qualitative study on using archives for K-12 informal disaster education. I now ask Bin Han to come forward to the stage. Bin's dissertation title is In Pursuit of High-Quality Urban Data. I now ask Pritham Damu to come forward to the stage. Pritham's dissertation title is Information-Seeking Agents in the Wild, Approaches to Evaluation in Dynamic and Open Environments. I now ask Johnny Cho to come to the stage. Johnny's dissertation title is Misinformation in Teenagers, the Role of Social and Emotional Learning in Media and Information Literacy. I now ask Anastasia Shadhart to come forward to the stage. Anastasia's dissertation title is Reimagining Psychiatric Hospitalization by Using Narrative Analyses and Co-Design to Center People's Experiences. I now ask Zithri Salim to come forward to the stage. Zithri's dissertation title is Values, Power, and Leadership, Transatlantic Interpretations of Technology. I now ask Emily Porter to come forward to the stage. Emily's dissertation title is Fake It Till You Don't Make It, Understanding Authenticity and Deception in Online Communities. I now ask Yue Yang to come forward to the stage. Yue's dissertation title is Spurious Correlations from Supervised Models to Agentic Systems Detection, Benchmarking, and Mitigation. Please join me once again in congratulating all of our PhD graduates. We will now recognize our candidates for the master's and bachelor's degrees offered by the Information School. I'll first begin by reading out the names of those who are celebrating with us online with their friends and families around the nation and around the world. In our Master of Library and Information Science program, Rosemarie Christensen, Meklit Dix, Eric Owen, Catherine Lynn Ward, Rosemary Christensen. For our Master of Science in Information Management program, Janie Aguilera, Elijah Rose, Sitone Liu, Christina Arike, June Han, Fabrice Nahadio Tiamo, Miranda Rasmussen. And for Informatics, Miller Lay, David Shu, Falako Yang, and Katie Jung. Please join me in congratulating those students. Now it is time to graduate the remainder of our class of 2026 who are here in person. I invite Program Chair Karen Fisher to please present your candidates for the degree of Master of Library and Information Science.
Would the candidates for the degree of Master of Library and Information Science please rise? Dean Day, it gives me the greatest pleasure to present our candidates.
On behalf of the Information School, I congratulate each of you on the effort and dedication you have shown in completing your degrees. Please be seated. Soon, ushers will prompt you to stand when it is time to come up to the stage. When you arrive at the side stage, stage left or stage right, you will have your photo taken. Once you arrive up the side ramps to have your name read, you will go to have your hand shaken by the nearest Master of Library and Information Science faculty and take another photo. It's a lot of instructions. Then proceed down the middle ramp in front of me down to your seat. Please, afterwards, stay in your seats for the remainder of the ceremony to watch for the other processions of MSIM and Info students afterwards. Now we will have Dr. Michelle Martin and Dr. Temi Odomosu come to the side microphones to announce the candidates, and Dr. Karen Fisher and Dr. Trent Hill to the middle of the stage to prepare to congratulate them. We will now recognize our graduates individually. Ushers, please begin guiding them forward.
Lana Burke.
Molly O'Donnell.
Erin Berkovici.
Jessica Townsend.
Cambridge Teeter.
Kyle Mahoney.
Sarah Harris.
Sue Hunsiker.
Natalie Babitsky.
Beck Henry.
Jessica Peregrina.
Austin Herschel Henley.
Lily Bailey.
Congratulations. Lily Larson.
Neha Paul.
Sarah Collins.
Haley Thomasone.
Benjamin Friedrichs.
Emily Primes.
Charlie Martin.
Isabella Durgan.
Linnea Davis.
Sophia Ferguson.
Sophie Cade.
Brendan Kavanaugh.
Sabrina Hendricks.
Malcolm Morell Bird.
Jane Doolittle.
West Bales.
Sally Pan.
Samuel Anderson.
Minju Kim.
Rashida Francis.
Soyoung Bai.
Me Blum.
Ellie Rogers.
Zoe Flores Villagran.
Meg Mola.
Anthony McKinnon.
Jay McPherson.
Rowan Tabor.
Tom Myers.
Michaela Balmer.
Jada Moore.
Sierra Dunaway.
Delia Lovren Abraham.
Kiara Tomashoff.
Abigail Bridget Hennekins.
Bella Montano.
Renee Jaffe.
Eric Stump.
Emily Bonner.
Yulie Matthew.
Carolyn Kinney.
Brayton Funk.
Yida Liu.
John Adler.
Rosemary Christensen.
Erica Owan.
James O'Brien.
Yvonne Mahesh.
Gianna Craig.
Sophia Yasmin Scheidegger.
Solon Scott.
Petra Ellerby.
Daniel Idelson.
Sarah Pollock.
Anissa Turner Raman.
Susan Broadfoot.
Grace Landers.
Rain Duncan.
Michelle Lacrosse.
Ime Lynn.
Charlotte Neighbors. Maura Wilson.
Alex Manassians.
Heidi Shepard.
Ella Tivan.
Daphne Williams Hoodfilts. Yes.
Willow Maloney.
Sandra Martinez.
Jesse Zumwalt.
R. Yuhung.
Daphne Luna McDonald.
Hanan Suleiman.
Marianne Brown.
Mecklid Dix.
Patty Titus.
Christy Motoya. Catherine Mann. Fran Wood.
Congratulations to our graduates from the Master of Library and Information Science, man. Would Program Chair Dr. David Hendry please present your candidates for Master of Science in Information Management?
Would the candidates for the degree of the Masters of Science in Information Management please rise? Dean Day, it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates.
On behalf of the Information School, I congratulate each of you on the effort and dedication you have shown in completing your degrees. Please be seated. Now we would like to invite Dr. Shirag Shah and Dr. Matthew Saxton to come to the side microphones to announce the candidates, and Dr. David Hendry and Sarah Sanford will go to the middle of the stage to prepare to congratulate them. We will now recognize our graduates individually. Ushers, please begin guiding them forward.
Not ready? It's not on. Okay. Leah Hemberry.
Tracy Paydown.
Anna Masuku.
J.E. Peng.
Rebecca Spouse.
Joel Halsevan.
Lily Tang.
Samuel Lee.
Maya Tang.
Roshan Maladi.
Bhargav Yalamuri.
Zebediah Scanlon.
Madison Abshire.
Pete Namshaiseri.
Christopher Phillips.
Srijami Das.
Carlos Rodriguez.
Alyssa Johansson.
Disha Santush.
Abreva Pratama.
Ankita Balal.
Ash Damani.
Clarence Mushina.
Daniel Mackey.
John Wynn.
Brandon Casey.
Zachary Greenman.
Amanda Kim.
Emily Grayburn.
Nicole Urayama.
Braya Kim Patterson.
Mega Mariam Saji.
Casey Frizzell.
Justin Matthews.
Ho Young Win.
Rohan Aitaraju.
Rebecca Berg.
Faiz Azim.
Salam Tesema.
Roosevelt Brown.
Alexia Beltran.
Saraya Brenda Obanya.
Karina Rodriguez.
Catherine Nguyen.
Sierra Allison. Fiza Samra Hassan.
Kyle Zhang.
Aaron Boaminta.
Anjali Devaraj.
Santosh Bhatt.
Eva Rowe.
Raghav Malawat.
Yuvraj Mangalurkar.
Anson Xiao.
Julie Vanderbroek.
Renee Guan.
Sukhman Dylan.
Aditi Antapur.
Nessa Choi.
Sean Nigel Canonizado.
Shubhangi Honda.
Varsha Shrivastava.
Megan Wangsar Vijaya.
Divya Kalia.
Casey Moy.
Bushra Kidwai.
Trang Q.
Winnie Huang.
Candy Slee.
Steve Gonzalez.
Firoz Khan.
Rahul Rastogi.
Anupam Sanidhya.
Veronica Lee.
Arohi Narang.
Gabrielle Lazo.
Sakshi Gandhi.
Rajeshwari Sabadra.
Sneha Reddy.
Nick Lee.
Santosh Kumar.
M. Stelter.
Rene Rodriguez.
Akli Amrus.
Anika Mohan.
Teresa T. Tron.
Chad Foster.
Selena Pohl.
Yvette Ivanhoff.
Shelley Chow.
Luna Day. Congratulations.
Abigail Baumgarten.
Saba Zialdo.
John Thomas.
Yu Leo.
Ashwati Udaya Kumar.
Arkriti Singh.
Yiting Wong.
Jenny Zhang.
Jenna Klein.
Wenshu Zhao.
Anushka Bagchandani.
Mung Han Liu.
Aviral Rajvanshi.
Eats Chan.
Kevin Loving.
Anna Croning.
Amulya Shashank.
Shireen Orayampuram.
Shannon Percival Smith.
Monica Muniraju.
Dakota Peterson.
Nabila Zafar.
Hanan Ajmal.
Gohar Salawata Zuka.
Afomia Asefa.
Mayuresh More.
Elisheba Chopali.
Sitang Liu.
Yitong Lee.
Alicia Smith.
Amy Sun.
Coaching Mishra.
Trudy Shaw.
Angela Guzman.
Sky Shen.
Lasa Sarvajahel.
Gianni G.
Samanthi Prabhakar.
Yi Chin Huang.
Oh.
Benita Chen.
Keep going.
Anjuta Kongbantan Tabe.
Get it.
Vinod Kamat.
Kantula Sekore.
Winter Lin.
Chin Chin Tai.
Danny Yue.
Connor Shea.
Felix Joe.
Bhagyashi Jaya Vaidya.
Devin Duong.
Harsh Vardhan Suresh.
Lin Fan.
Sahil Dua.
Luong Kwan.
Amit Rana.
Min Mai.
Sunayana Hazarika.
Sophia Pham.
Ayushi Somani.
Menghan Wang. Good to see you.
Rushika Pramod Jain.
Anushka Panwal.
Sunita Tiwari.
There's a longer line.
Devika Bhutani.
Sarat Namibar.
Rituvik Gower.
Why is there longer on that side?
Upendra Kumar.
Praniket Walawalkar.
Prashant Joshi.
Saikiran Jakan.
Rishabh Jain.
Send some on this side.
Divesh Jain. Somya Madhusudanan.
I'm open. I'm open.
Nikita Wishawana Anchan. Zoe Diener. Hannah Zolti. Apurva Rahulkar. Vraj Rajpura. Bhagyeshi Rag. Shiti Sinha. Shanivi Kaul. Suporno Ghosh. Ananya Sharma. Surafel Teferi Tesfaye. Divya Dilipakumar Agraval. Eshetu Daga. Prunaya Pukal. Shrushti Chaukunde. Ishika Johuri. Awantika Sharma. Prachi Re. Matthew Jerry Millith. Rahil Muruli Hurika. Siddharth Pave. Shreyas Subramanya. Saujunya Grandi. Abhinandini Suresia. Abhignya Rajapu. Mona Mohammed. Sabrina Omer. Andrea Rocha. Linda Heidvogel. Han Feng Fu. Jia Yang Wei. Donna Yu and Maxine.
One more time, please join me in thanking all of our and congratulating all of our 2026 MSIM graduates. I'd now like to welcome Program Chair Dr. Joel Ross to please present your candidates for Bachelor of Science in Informatics.
Would the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Informatics please rise? Dean Day, it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates.
On behalf of the Information School, I congratulate each of you on your effort and dedication you have shown in completing your degrees. Please be seated. I think you see the pattern, but just to be clear, ushers will prompt you to stand when it's time to come to the stage. When you arrive at the side stage, you'll have your photo taken. Once you arrive at the side ramps to have your name read, you'll go to have your hand shaken by the nearest informatics faculty and take another photo, and then proceed down the middle ramp back to your seat. I would now like to welcome Dr. Joe Janes, Dr. Mara Kadarani Ryan, Dr. Spencer Williams, and Dr. Wes King to come to the side microphones to announce the candidates. And Dr. Joel Ross and Dr. Amy Coe will come to the middle of the stage to prepare to congratulate them. We now recognize our graduates individually. Ushers, please begin guiding them forward.
Right about there is good.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Michelle Ngo.
All right. Height. Alicia.
Trayson Alcorda.
Mohammed Farah.
Yep. Sure. All right.
Daniel Hayes. Have them say it here.
Sarah Gadamsi.
Reem Abdul Hamid.
Dylan Brown.
Razan Mansour. Foti Lee.
Danya Janijo.
Clark Chin.
Tina Nguyen.
Parker Wong.
Nathan Nguyen.
Carl Lee.
Philmon Dawit.
Vanery Sue. Mohammed Abdi Rashid Mohammed.
Kenta Lipsy.
Bilal Dawala.
Minkyu Kim. Ryan Kelleher.
Raisha Vora.
Sonoma Miller.
Cassie Huang. Denai Rivas.
Kelly Tai.
Luis Gabriel Kalinget.
Jason Kubasau. Jack Slowoski.
Gabby Schwartz.
Diana Paola Vergara.
Harshvi Balu. Paul O.
Laura Kotemliansky.
Han Lee.
Kira Brodsky. James Nguyen.
Moore Verad.
Amber Wu.
Alan Levy.
Lexi Kolakowski.
Eyal Sheckman.
Thea Klein Balaji. Gunnar Dornwend.
Angel Danae Hill.
Zhang Khan.
Cecilia Luo. Kaisa Sherwood.
Rowan Saunders.
Tilly Word.
Livia Lazaga. Tristan Q.
New Tot.
Calvin Joaquin.
Rochelle Gust. Derek Sue.
Ornella Onuzu Adun.
Isabella Bolter.
Wenshin Shah. Kieran McNeely.
Tai Nguyen.
Rashmi Gaitanda.
Rike Diaz. Kabir Maheshwari.
Anthony Sung.
Maida Robert.
Ethan Kim. Ivika Verma.
Fu Kwan.
Sanjana Pavani.
Michael Cinnamon. Mansi Survey.
Charlotte Liu.
Kushi Lumba.
Charlene Cheng. Soa Sultana.
Ajit Malavarapu.
Mia Young.
Veer Shah. Junyue Huang.
Bertrand Wan.
Razel Joy Laganer.
Moses Telenawa. Cleo Alfonso Reyes.
Mickey Ho.
Aiden Bartlett.
Ellen Nguyen. Kristen Gustafson.
Noah Avitan.
Netra Krishnan.
Shruti Anand. Neha Venkatesh.
Tola Richni Chow.
Chen Wei Cassidy Yao.
Ramina Farudi. Jeffrey Ye.
Natalie Olson.
Brian Yuen.
Erica Lua.
Francis Din.
Elena Jun.
Hannah Rose. Helen Huynh.
Ashley Mora.
Marissa Oishi.
Megan Pham.
Sally Schaefer.
Matthew Lelengen.
Allison Lamb. Marcus Carlsons.
Julie Danbold.
Cole Meyer.
Jessica Wang. Christian Kaylin Alves.
Jay Kim.
Hugh Lee.
Wenhua Chen.
Nathan Doe. Keilani Uehara.
Victoria Jong.
Audrey Fan.
Roa Cooper. Spencer Gardner.
Shubhan Burla.
Un Dao.
Dev Dewan. Jada Nguyen.
Joshua Taylor.
Natalie Hines.
Benjamin Leland. Emmy Vo.
Jia Xiao.
Stephanie Liu.
Eric Cho. Hoda Ayad.
Kevin Chuang.
Simon Kurgan.
Lucy Lin. Kazuma Itagaki.
Kelly Wong.
Emily Howe.
Enrico Pratama. Eugene Lim.
Winston Hermawan.
Daniel Choi.
Eugene Alexander Wongso. Yunho Jin.
Stephen Wilbert Heng.
Cade Young.
Christian James Dizon Korea. Jimin Song.
Alex Han.
Yubin Lee.
Ryan Louie. Stephanie Wren.
Brian Yui.
Maria Umen.
Ryan Cho. Katie Turan.
Sarah Dwan.
Jenny Spielman.
Chris Yu. Sukjin Chon.
Adeline Shea.
Theophila Abigail Setiawan.
Lucas Besbati. Renee Singh.
Ira Manipudi.
Anushka Verma.
Hitanshu Prujapati. Nicholas Chu.
Pushpar Pamadapudi.
Akil Dumidi.
Mo Kairula. Christina Tran.
Durain Heck.
Anderson Liu.
Ella Kim. Andy Prempe.
Bethlehem Amarga Abza.
Sarah Usman.
Eden Dejini Fenta. Nimde Astu Job.
Sam Malik.
Marissa Johnson.
Munir Imam. Deborah Marcos.
Gaikane Alviar.
Rayon Cunningham.
Hanrai Tang. Khadija Dial.
Fanfei Dong.
Haibo Swun.
Jingyu Pong. Jiang Wu.
Yongxi Chen.
Edward Lee.
Qing Deng. Nicole Zhou.
Jiahui Chen.
Evan Chang.
Yueming Wu. Vincent Liu.
Langxi Zhang.
Alona Hoja.
Ziyi Zoe Huang.
Nathan Komisarchuk. Sammy Huang.
Mia Cho.
Jueru He. Songhee Park.
Mandy Huang.
Amina Ari.
Yeah. Audrey Young. Alvina Ada Shao.
Yusin Wu.
Jamin Kim.
Xavier Dixon. Akash Stresta.
Nathan Bekela.
Artyom Serebrikov.
Camilo Montedehara. Anita Tan.
Aryan Palave.
Nosher Said.
Caden Kapadia.
Rude Umashankar.
Rohan Simha. Arushi Agarwal.
Umrath Gundram.
Devanshi Desai.
Anushka Nayak. Mikita Lapatash.
Asad Joffrey.
Arkita Jain.
Reagan Ince. Vaibhava Venkateshan.
Belize Ozan.
Joshua William.
Reed Alexander. Ash Sibakati.
Yo Jinzi Lee.
Alexis Lucatero Perez.
Kiyomi Komatsu. Cody Tan.
Tian Tran.
William Ang.
Catherine Tran. Marie Kang.
Elijah Smith.
Jasmine Bong.
Brandon Law.
Jameson Canonizado.
Javier Barragan.
Tom Sander.
Elijah Tran.
Leah Hutchinson Bryan.
Rashil Chanday.
Lily Ngo.
Peter Lay.
Ian Chiu.
Sophila Phelan Song.
Bright Wang.
Jibril Samoon.
Lana Vong.
Madison Nguyen.
Catherine Roshla Rice.
Matthew Nguyen.
Leanne Margaret Landicho de la Cruz.
Emmanuel Tedla.
Sabrina Turnus.
Yasmin Losovsky.
Christina Catherine Villavicencio.
Aradana Mudapatuya.
Ana Gabrielle Carpio.
Jennifer Nicole Gomez Jimenez.
Allison Chua.
Longyu Shu.
Yunso Chung.
Jennifer Nguyen.
Tiffany Nguyen.
Buba Katompa.
Khalees Hightower.
Isabel Sacconi.
Kina Chong.
Jenny Zhang.
Hermela Tsema.
Tyler Nguyen.
Elham Jamal.
Oscar Rincon.
William Yoon.
Neha Ravi.
Christopher Moy.
Daphne George.
Nicole Cho.
Susruthi Kuranam.
Jacqueline Flynn.
Noor Amir.
Shirley Yun.
Sunny Tian.
Aileen Kwong.
Joey Ling.
Vanya Benitez Salgado.
Malaya Ladinas La Madrid.
Asmi Sate.
Kylie Ufi.
Shayna Suzuki.
Niranjana Kanan.
Lucas Buckley.
Anirudh Gopal Ramaduri.
Saleh Kamo.
Ashwin Subramanian.
Katharina Chung.
Arnav Kare.
Ali Wu.
Nabiet Barusalam Abeje Marcos.
Udith Srijith.
Arsene
Arushi
Assisi.
Mera.
Vani Agarwal.
Mumtaz Shikhadan.
Samuel Lim.
Arohi Kumar.
Lena Kefa.
Varsha Ventakasan.
Aiden Snyder.
Sammy Jiang.
Isabel Henderson.
Yekaterina Karasholovova.
Natalie Cohen.
Tingshi Lu.
Jonathan Toe.
Amber Liu.
Luke Johnson.
Ifan Ji.
Mingyao Shu.
Ting Ting Wang.
Yuan Shi Lee.
Rachel He.
Siddhartha Tyagarajan.
Brian Zhang.
Thomas Tang.
Boe Huang.
Madhu Sridhar.
Chen Chen.
Alex Tao.
Zuroy Deng.
Connor Bowie.
Samuel Clement.
Alex Berry.
Jasmine Grover. Congrats.
Ashley Smith.
Goban Marandis.
Della Zhang.
Arona Cho.
Rashida Reddy.
Shrala Shankar.
Makila Sunil.
Selma Link.
Ria Kulkarni.
Cindy Nguyen.
Charisse Domingo Cobanos.
David Tran.
Junsong Lee.
Salma Yusuf.
Hannah Yi.
Helen Tumenbayer.
Noah Pack.
Samad Young.
Hee Eun Wee.
Simran Gupta.
Spandana Kaman.
Risha Ashwin.
Meiying Piao.
Hiba Abbas.
Miller Lay.
Chunfei Liu.
Haojung Wang.
Francesca Wong.
Alfred He.
Chilen Chi.
Laban Muhammad.
Lian Heping Li.
Boyan Liu.
Shijie Zhuang.
I said earlier that this is my 9th convocation with the Information School. I think this is the loudest convocation I've ever been at, so thank you to all of you. And I know we've done it many times, but please join me one more time in giving our graduates a final round of applause. The Information School, including our students and graduates, strive to make a difference and positively impact the world. We do this through our academic programs and research programs and our service to professional and scientific communities. This class of graduating students and all those who have gone before them and those who will graduate in the future are an essential part of our mission, making critical contributions to cultural heritage, healthcare, artificial intelligence and technology, sustainability, public infrastructure, and the list goes on in service of the country and the world. Students are the reason that we, your faculty and staff, all love our jobs so much. Through the graduates' incredibly important work, using what they have learned, the world is made better. These students, all of you, make me so proud to be a part of the Information School and are the reason that our faculty and staff give so much of themselves to support their journey and your journey. Before closing this convocation, I would ask family and friends here in HEC-Ed to remain in their seats until the recessional is complete, at which time you can rejoin your graduates in the front lobby. Graduates, when the ushers prompt you, please exit down the center and up into the main concourse level to join your guests in the lobby. Ushers will have everyone leave starting from the back rows and moving forward. And we'll begin that recessional after some brief thanks. I would like to thank our Convocation Committee, and especially Caro Zayer and Catherine Opie for organizing and orchestrating all of the many details necessary for celebrating our convocation here today. Also, thank you to the many alumni, staff, and students who have volunteered their time today to make this event memorable for our graduates and all those in attendance. Thank you all. I would also like to thank the staff and faculty colleagues who work tirelessly to serve the education and research mission of the Information School. Thank you all very, very much. Finally, to the graduating class of 2026, I speak for all faculty and staff in the Information School when I say that I'm immensely proud of your achievements. You represent a culmination of the past 25 years of the Information School and set the tone for the next 25 years. Based upon your time as students, I know what you are all capable of, as professionals, as leaders, as community members and peers. I appreciate Tracy Hall, our keynote speaker's reminder today that you all, that you all have the ability to change and improve the world, and the opportunity and challenge in front of you is in deciding how you're going to do it. I encourage you to embrace this challenge in your everyday actions and work tasks, Big changes can start with relatively small actions, such as asking questions and challenging assumptions. My greatest wish for all of you is that you find happiness and fulfillment in your lives and careers, and to find an answer to poet Mary Oliver's famous line, "Tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" A few months ago, I, like millions of people around the world, was glued to my screen to watch the latest Artemis mission. As a former aerospace engineer, I was really fascinated by what was happening. As the astronauts were awestruck, experiencing life-changing views of the moon up close, and were gushing about what they were seeing, Angela Garcia, the science officer on the ground, simply responded, "Copy, Moonjoy." I wish for all of you to find your Moonjoy, and I so look forward to seeing all the change that you accomplish when you pair your profound abilities with a career that brings you your Moonjoy. It has been an absolute honor and a privilege to work with you and to get to know you. Congratulations, and I hope to see many of you at our University of Washington commencement ceremony next Saturday on June 13th. Congratulations again.